and this will be another round 2 race.
Oh.
And yeah, we already starting both going with Shay apparently.
Nice meme. And looks like we're getting underway now, so
yeah. So yeah, but do me the honor and explain the first part.
Of course. So we start off in the very beginning of the underground ruins, and we've just encountered Flowey, who tries to come off as nice, but he actually isn't, really. And our goal for this run is to get through the entirety of the underground world as fast as we can, using the fastest route that is available to us.
So in general, the neutral ending is the shortest run of the categories that we have, and it requires 1 battle while we are sparing all the main bosses, you could say. And what we are already seeing is people, what they're doing is to advance the text as fast as possible. They're using a so-called technique that is called piano mashing, and on the version they're playing, Enter and Z and X and Shift are separate buttons, so you can advance text really fast by mashing them in a certain pattern. Since Z and Enter are advancing the text box to the next one, and Shift and X are advancing the text to the end of the current text box. So by mashing those 4 buttons in a specific pattern, you can actually skip the text as fast as possible.
Yep, just a quick thing to note there is, with the mashing you can do it as either ZX Enter Shift or XZ Shift Enter, or any of those particular patterns, personal preference I guess. On GeoDasher's screen you'll notice he's doing a little bit of a swag walk there, which is a little bit of a visual glitch trick that just doesn't save any time, just looks neat. And now we start getting into the RNG part of Ruins.
Let's see, there are 2 rooms in total at the beginning that you can get in random encounter. So Geo didn't get one and Galaxtic didn't get one either, so both are still good.
Yep.
The next encounter both have is, it's scripted, so you get that encounter here.
Yeah, that was the first of 2 scripted encounters we get in Ruins. The second one is just about to come up on GeoDasher's screen. Oh, not quite getting rock skip there.
GeoDasher also got lucky. He got 2 times a sparable fight, which is a bit faster than the fleeing animation. Also, GeoDasher just encountered Nepseplug. Nepseplug is a little mid-boss fight, you could say, of the Ruins. And by cheering him on 4 times, you can finish the fight really fast.
Yeah, you'd want to cheer him the first 3 turns, and then on the 4th turn you can either flirt or cheer. Checking or threatening on the 4th turn essentially triggers a 1.5-minute long sequence of him just non-stop crying, and it's basically reset or die at that point, if this was a normal run. Or not a race, I should say. I think GeoDasher might have just... I think either his time is just derped or he's cut it or something. I don't know what's happening at the moment. No, it's not a soft lock. I think, if it's what I think it is, it's happened. Geo might have actually checked or threatened Napsterblick on the 4th turn, which, again, wasted about 1.5 minutes, or you end up dying from it. Unless it's just derping on our end.
Oh yeah, the timer stopped on Geo's side.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely reset, so that's why I'm thinking, was it intentional or was it just... Oh, it's gone now. Okay, maybe it is just a derp. Oh, he accidentally stopped his timer. Okay. Oh, he hit the forfeit button by accident. Oof. That's really unfortunate. Yeah. Okay, so Galactic has just started the tutorial encounter, and as you can see, the hand attack that he just got, if you run into that, instantly cancels the attack pattern. Still trying to figure out what's happening on Geo's end at the moment.
It's going to continue really soon.
Yep. So yeah, going back to the tutorial fight, with the hand attack, you want to get at least 6 hand cancels. The slightly more optimal strat for that is to go for 8 hands, which involves essentially hitting the fireball spawner, which does 1 HP damage and sets you up for a maximum 8 cancel. Okay, there we go, Geo's back into it now. So yeah.
Yeah, so Galaxtic is done with the ruins, almost. Just a goodbye from tutorial. And next up we will be the more text meshing part, snowed in. So you can save a lot of time snowed in by perfecting your meshing technique. So if a good meshing technique, you can actually save a lot of time here, because it's a really, really text-heavy part.
And also, Snowden does introduce a couple of extra puzzles that we have to complete, as well as the first actual glitch that we use in the neutral run, which is the ice puzzle skip, which we'll get to when we get close to that area. So Geo's just about to start the tutorial fight now. See what his RNG's like there. Okay, well, we got hit there. It's unfortunate. But yeah, what he just did at the end of that particular attack, that's the setup for 8 cancel. Which, yeah, probably won't be with that first hit now.
Can Geo win? Yes, he still can win. There are so many possibilities where you can lose time on the run. So even though Galaxtic is ahead, it doesn't mean that he will win. There are so many possibilities where you can actually lose time, lose fight to ask, or soft locking yourself at certain places. Yeah, there are a lot of possibilities there.
Yep. At the end of the day, anything can happen, and it's still early days in this run, so I guess it's a case of who knows. So yeah, we just met Papyrus and Sans for the first time, and we sort of have a little bit of dialogue between them throughout Snowden. Okay, so what Galaxtic just did there is he put the tough glove on and took off the stick. That's important coming up for a few of the encounters here for the dog squad members.
Yeah, you can actually finish every fight of the dogs with the stick alone, and it just only takes one round.
Yeah, the only one that doesn't require the stick is Lesser Dog, which we can just flee from.
So Doggo will be the first fight, where you can see the stick in action.
Also, another thing to note with the Doggo fight is it introduces the blue attack, which is the attack that we don't actually move through. Or we can't actually move through.
Yeah, exactly. Just remember the blue stop signs all the time.
Yep. Okay, there's Lesser Dog, goodbye. And we're about to come up to Dogamy and Doggeressa, or sometimes called Dog Marriage, I guess.
Yeah, there would be the possibility to actually skip the whole fight, but since it's only possible with a task, because you need to have a random encounter at the same time by entering the fight to Dogamy and Doggeressa, it's mostly the only thing that can be done with tasks.
Also, just pointing out that Galaxtic got the slightly quicker attack there. There's two attacks you can get from Dogamy Doggeressa, the axes or the circular heart attack. And the axes are about 1.2 seconds faster compared to the other attack. So coming up, we've got the color puzzle skip, and with this one here, it's actually faster to say, no, you don't understand it, rather than say that you do understand it. Otherwise, the puzzle just takes a while to load up and you end up wasting more time.
Yeah, it takes way longer for the cutscene to play out than actually tell him 2 times that you don't have an idea what he's talking about. Galaxtic is already coming up with the puzzle. There are a couple of possibilities where how you can do this. He's using a bit more safer one. The thing about this is you need to... The last one is a bit tricky because you need to press down and right at the same time and immediately press to the right. So you can actually skip the cutscene of the bridge is building up.
Yeah, for that to work, you have to be on a specific pixel and or subpixel on the last switch before you do the actual skip.
Galaxtic even got the sleeping dog attack.
Yep. Good dog RNG so far for Galaxtic.
There's so many good boys in this run.
Yep, and I think we have one more coming up.
Hang in there, buddy.
He just looks so relaxed up there. So once this particular cutscene's finished and a little bit of a walk, Galaxtic will be entering Snowdin Town proper.
Yeah.
So I guess you could say that was the outskirts or whatever you want to call it.
There's also the possibility that you can do a wrong whip with the sign. It only takes like 2 seconds or so, but by entering the igloo and by at the same time interacting with the sign, you can actually wrong warp into the next area.
Okay, so Galaxtic's about to start the papyrus fight. Let's see how it goes.
It's actually faster to lose against Papyrus 3 times than doing the fight normally.
Yeah, it's about 45 seconds faster, I think, for dying to him 3 times. Okay, Geo got first try ice puzzle as well. Nice.
And that's the second fight for Galactic.
I just wanted to point out real quick, the reason why we either check or throw the stick at Papyrus on the first fight, it's because if we spare him on the first fight, we get the blue attack, which is basically the same attack that Doggo uses, but a bit longer in duration, so it's actually quicker to check or throw the stick at him on the first cycle.
Geo is about to enter Snowdim himself.
Okay, so that's the end of the third phase for Galaxtic, so when he goes up to Papyrus again, there'll be a bit of dialogue and you'll choose that you don't want to fight him. Obviously...
That's also, that's also the point where... I just want to say that that's the part where most of the runners slow down a little bit because it's so early that you can actually accidentally hit the yes button.
Yes, and fighting Papyrus a 4th time will lose you roughly 30 seconds or so, or something like that. Actually, it might be closer to 50 seconds. Okay, Galaxtic made it safely. Nice. So yeah, that was the Papyrus fight and to an extent the Snowden area. Now we're moving on to Waterfall. And in a few minutes, we'll be getting the punch card, which basically breaks the game into pieces, and yeah, we just get to have a lot of fun with it. Okay, so Geo's finished the second Papyrus fight, so he's got one more round, and then hopefully we'll progress through unharmed.
In the meantime, Galactic is entering Waterfall area, and with that, ending the first half of the run, the non-PC part, because you can actually divide the run into 2 parts. The first part is the more practical stuff where it's about mashing, where it's about the random encounters in the ruins, and the second part is the PCE part, the punch cut exploit part, where you skip cutscenes, do wrong warps, out of bounds moves with an item that is called punch cut, and Galactic accidentally screwed up the flower puzzle just now.
Yes, once we get the punch card in a couple minutes, all the technical parts of the run will start to happen, and we'll get to see all sorts of cool stuff being done, like wrong warping, text storage, and that sort of thing. Okay, Geo's made it past Papyrus now, that's good. And Galactic is about to enter the first Spears chase, which does have a little bit of manipulation on the runner's part in terms of movement and avoiding the spears. Okay, I also had to point out with this particular encounter, the actual Frisk hitbox for this encounter is kind of weird. So instead of it being normally from the top of the head to the bottom of their feet, just above the head there's actually a bit of a discrepancy in not getting hit, and with the feet it comes up a little bit into the body proper, if I remember correctly, or it might be the other way around.
You can manipulate the spears where they strike by pressing the buttons according to it, because if you want them to be higher, just press up, because it then takes the last input of your keys and decides where to throw the spears at. Okay, time to explain the punch card, because it's coming up soon. So in general, what the punch card is doing, it changes the global range value in the game that is called interact. And the interact value decides what's currently going on the screen. So it decides if you are in the menu, if it decides if you're in a cutscene, it decides pretty much if you can walk or not, if you're able to walk around or not. And by using the punch card, and for instance, what he's doing really soon, the text storage, if you're using it with as Galaxtic is doing with the text storage, and text storage is similar application to the punch card itself, it manipulates interact, and for a lot of skips it can be used. So you can also perform, for instance, wrong warps, or it can be used to enter cutscenes, which are able to leave afterwards. Because normally those cutscenes have a certain trigger line. For instance, you normally would have a trigger line here too at the Onion Sound, what Galaxtic was trying to do. But because it's so plain, the visuals are so plain, it's just a black bar, you cannot really tell where the line is that you need to cross for the cutscene to play. And so that's the only reason, or the only time where you use an acoustic sound, the splashing sound, so you know that you are in the cutscene right now.
Yep. There is one other method that some runners use with Onion Sand Skip, and that is when the bottom tentacle reaches its maximum height, is also when that can be the visual cue as well, if you're sort of practiced and used to it and all that. Otherwise, yeah, you normally have to listen for the splash in order to know if you've got the skip or not.
Also important to know, if you are using up too much time by meshing away the punch card, you actually softlock yourself on this cutscene.
Yeah. Also, with that particular skip that Galaxtic did, if you mash away the text too early, then you actually soft lock because you're not able to move, and Monster Kid just walks on by and just carries on walking across the screen. And unfortunately, yeah. Also, just wanted to point out real quick that with how wrong warping works in general, it's basically, you know, we just generally say that every wrong warp is a possibility of soft locking. So it's a risky strategy, but it's also a time-saving strategy if you're somewhat sort of used to it and all that, and able to get consistent wrong warps. Okay, so Galaxtic is in the second Spears chase now, and this one works a bit differently to the first one. Spears come up from below the ground upwards, and again we can manipulate where the spears actually appear based on which arrows we're holding down and what movement directions we are inputting. Okay, so that was a pretty good space too for Galaxtic. And now we get the bridge separation cutscene. Or falling down, as I call it.
You didn't get the monster kit. Skip.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that skip doesn't really save a lot of time, and obviously with the risk of mashing the text away, you can soft lock.
Normally, if you're doing a run, you just try to get it frame perfect. Just walk in, and if you get it, you okay. If you're not getting, you just mash the text away and just move on.
Yep.
But Galactic is coming up to another mid-boss fight, you could say. Before in the waterfall, it is the Mad Dummy. And I guess he will try to get the 5-turn dummy. He's doing a safety save here because, yeah, a lot of runs died to Mad Dummy.
Yeah. If you're not careful with HP management throughout the fight, then it's basically one of the run killers that people tend to have. So with the Mad Dummy fight, there is a little bit of manipulation involved with the cotton ball attacks. So you'll see Galactic taking an intentional hit there and then moving out of the way. We want to get a set amount of cotton balls on the first 2 attacks in order to guarantee us a specific pattern which we can use to optimally try and get a 5 cycle on the Mad Dummy fight.
In total, he needs. I already said in the last week. I'm not remembering numbers really too good, but I think it's 132 damage that you need to advance into phase 2.
I think it's something like that. I don't know the exact number, but it's
I'm horrible with numbers too.
Yeah, same.
And he
got it. Nice. Yeah, 5 cycles is the fastest you can get for a Mad Dummy at this point in time. I don't even think it's possible to get a 4 cycle without, like, actually at all. Yeah.
So in general, the Mad Dummy fighters divided into 2 phases again. The first one where you can damage him, and the second one where you just need to evade. It doesn't matter if you hit him with the rockets or not.
Yeah.
You just need to do the turns.
Okay, so Galactic's at 9 HP at the moment, which is okay. As long as he doesn't take 2 hits here, he'll be fine. Because each of the rockets do 5 HP damage, and obviously 2 hits means he'd be dead, but luckily he didn't take any hits there. Yeah. Rockets don't really matter at this point, it's just like the second half of the Mad Dummy fight, you don't have to worry about manipulating anything. You just get through it as fast as you can and as safe as you can. Okay, Geo's just started. He's done the first cycle. Let's see how his one goes. Oh, I should point out as well, the knife attack that you just saw on Galactic's screen not too long ago, that does 7 HP damage, so yeah, although it's easy to avoid, so you don't necessarily run into it at all.
Runs died to this knife because people didn't pay attention when they were like, oh yeah, I'm done just mashing it. Oh, wait.
So let's see if Geo can get 5 cycle here. Oh no, he didn't quite get it. Hopefully 6 cycle, we'll see in a little bit. Yep. Yeah, so 6 cycle can happen from time to time if you are a few cotton balls short of getting 5 cycle. It's just, sometimes it's bad RNG, sometimes it's other reasons, but yeah. Usually 5 or 6 cycle is the most common form of Mad Dummy in the run.
You want to do the one time explaining, or should want me to do this?
I'll give it a shot. So,
okay.
So Galactic's a few rooms away from it, so I'll go over it now. So coming up, there's a skip that's called One Dine, and how One Dine works is there's 2 PCEs that we do, followed by a slightly awkward wrong warp. The wrong warp itself is awkward in the fact that you don't have to be in the traditional wrong warp position to move into the next room. You can actually be a little bit below it. basically there's 2 punch card exploits you do, and then you basically tap up twice, and then you get into position for the wrong warp. You mash away a couple of text boxes, and then as soon as that's done, you open up the punch card and do the wrong warp as normally, but it's within a certain time frame. If you're too early, then you just transition normally, and I think it's the same if you're too late. And I know you can also soft lock on that as well, like with any other wrong warp. And Geo's about to finish with Napster Blook.
One wrong warp, second wrong warp, a cutscene skip.
Okay, that was a good bridge skip there.
And here we go. Okay, he's not doing the one done. Not the 3 times one done. I mean, it's still one done, but yeah, because you fight undone only once, but he's not doing this cutscene skips.
Yeah. So what Galactic is doing is what we refer to as one cycle undone. So there's a difference here in that Galactic didn't opt to do the first PCE, but the second PCE in the wrong warp will be performed instead. And also, with the one cycle, you can actually transition up into the room and come back down since the cutscene's already been skipped.
So yeah.
So for this particular fight, we want to challenge Undyne 4 times as it speeds up the attack patterns, and we just spare the last 2 turns if we've done it right, and it just gets it through that little bit faster. Okay, I'll just point out as well, Geo attempted a skip, which not many runners do. It's called Flower Flow, and you basically overflow the flower in that room, and then I myself haven't done it, so I don't know too much about it.
Let's see if Geo is at, Geo's going for it.
Oh,
but he hit the second. Yeah, he hit the second PC trigger.
That's probably the worst thing you could. I want to say it's the worst thing you can do is hit the second trigger, because you have to actually fight Undyne there, plus you have to go through the... oh no, you don't have to go through the cutscene, do you? You just fight Undyne there, so it's basically a 2 cycle. Okay, so
GeoDasher with the attempt for one dine, but sadly missed it. And Galaxtic with the one cycle, with the let's say the not real one dine, not the real one.
Fake one dine.
The fake dine.
Yeah, also just going back to when Galactic fought Vulcan, for this particular category, Vulcan is the only monster that we actually have to kill. Well, not necessarily have to kill, but it's optimal to kill Vulcan here, as it gives us a level boost to level 4, which we then use to go up against Asgore, which gives us a little bit more of a damage boost.
Also, what Galaxtic did beforehand was skipping the whole Metaton scene with Alphys, which saved a huge chunk of time.
Yeah.
And what we also forgot to mention is on GeoDasher's side, what we see right now is he purposely set him up right below the W in the text in the sign up there, because if you're a bit further ahead, then it's possible that Undyne is still catching up to you because of the placement of the characters, that she actually is able to catch up to you before you leave the room. And by placing yourself below the W, you can actually avoid this.
Yeah. Ideally, it's the 4th little bump, I guess you could call, under the sign. And we've got Galactic attempting Jetpack Skip now, which is basically a double PCE, if you want to call it that. It's kind of a text storage with the punch card because you're basically doing 2 PCEs in a row. And what's happened there is you actually get the second set of text storage as well, so you can use that to skip the second trigger of the cutscene. Because you've got the actual cooking show and then the trigger for the jetpack show, or whatever you want to call it. Also, just pointing out that Galaxtic is going to go back to left floor 1. What he's doing there is going back to the area where we ran from Undyne, because we've lost our menu now because we skipped the Metaton cutscene, which happens throughout the other Metaton skips that we do. And going back to this particular area here allows us to get our menu back so we can carry on with the run as normal.
You can also skip the whole...
He went to right 1. That's unfortunate.
But you can skip the whole elevator scene by doing a PC. So you can actually go outside earlier before even the scene has finished loading, you could say.
Yep. Oh.
Let's see if we next will attempt the phone skip.
Yep.
Prepare your headphones.
Volume warning incoming. No, okay.
No. Didn't get it.
Yeah.
Next up is one of the more tricky PCs being done. The so-called news skip. Because you actually enter a room where it's completely black. You cannot see the visual triggers. You actually start counting steps. And after the 7th step, you start mashing. Oh,
yeah, that's no good.
Yeah, and to finish this, after the 7th step, you start mashing the punch card to skip. He missed a trigger here because there is a fight that you can skip. No, I did.
Yep. So we just got Royal Guard skip there. And Galactic's about to attempt new skip.
Okay, got it?
Yeah, that's one of 2 skips, I believe, in this run that has no audio or visual cue. The other being Luke's skip, which will come up when we're in New Home. Unless I'm mistaken and there's more than 2. And again, Galactic going back to left 4-1 because we skipped another Metaton show, the news show, so we have to go back and get our menus again.
GeoDasher is coming up with the new skip too.
Okay, let's see how it goes here. Got the Royal Guard skip. So Galactic's coming up on north-south skip, which is kind of a fidgety skip in terms of getting it to work most of the time, just because of how the inputs work with it. Let's
Geo
see
got
how
it.
goes. Oh, nice. Geo got a new skip. That's good. Oh.
And Galactic had it on the 2nd try.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good north-south. It can trip a lot of people up just in terms of how the inputs work, so that's a really good north-south there.
And Galaxtic also did a safety save here, race safe, because there is a certain cutscene coming up that's, if you miss it, you lose a lot of time. It's better to actually reload the game and do it again, over again.
Yeah.
Because it would lose so many minutes.
Yeah, we're just about to come up now and see if Galactic can get it.
Okay, he got it?
Yep.
Yes.
Pretty good there.
Now he just needs to go to the core to set the trigger that he actually had this cutscene. Because right now the game still doesn't know that he actually is done with the Metaton fight, so he needs to get up here into the core and let one cutscene play, so that the game knows, oh, okay, he's here right now, and so he unlocks the elevator for this floor.
Geo having a bit of trouble with north-south there on the second part. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you're right, Shay. The actual north-south skip is... Yeah, I'll agree with what you said there. So, last time we have to go back down here to left floor 1 to get our menus back, and once Galactic goes back up to right floor 3, we'll be exiting Hotland and entering the core section of the run now. Okay, GeoDasher doing opera skip. There we go.
Another fight skip.
Yep, that was magic skip, and now we've got this particular bit here, and then coming up is another skip, which we just call laser skip.
If you actually fail to do the magic skip, you can actually use the stick again to end the fight in 1 round.
Yeah.
So for this laser puzzle, laser skip, you can actually do it on 2 versions. He's probably doing the one with the... Yeah. Where you go to the 5th laser and doing the PC there. The second one is doing it at the first text box and then entering 1 laser fight, do it, and then continue through the room. But the one Galaxtic did is slightly faster.
Okay, Galaxtic not opting to do the overflow for the puzzle there, that's completely fine. Okay, so Galactic's going to do normal core. There's another optional strat that can be done as well, which you call snowy core, which we may or may not see Geo do later on. So you get a flee from the astigmatism there, and then... Yep, safety save coming up, and then we do Metaton skip.
And they got it. Nice.
There we go.
Now for the Alpha skip. On the right side in the medium, you see GeoDasher doing the second version of the laser skip. Okay, Galaxtic didn't do the Alpha skip.
So coming up we have the elevator skip, which involves PC in the elevator. Yep, there we go. So if you PC the elevator and you get the Alpha's text box coming up, you can actually skip that cutscene, but you actually have to enter the elevator as the text box comes up, otherwise, yeah.
And in the meantime, GeoDasher is going for the snowy core.
Oh, yeah.
And he's at Metaton.
And Galaxtic's just entered New Home, where, for the most part, it's all just unskippable text, but there are a couple of skips here. First one we're coming up in a little bit. Okay, he's going to overflow the flower, is he? Yep. And there we go. So that was what we call Megalor skip. Basically, we walked into the trigger of the second cutscene, the Whimsun cutscene, with the text box still open, and we used the text storage trick to gain movement for a short period of time in order to room transition, which basically gets rid of the encounter, so we don't actually have to do it. Yeah.
There's another cutscene skip coming up done by Wrong Warp. So you can skip one more monster tail, the rest you have to sit through.
Yeah.
So pretty much Geo can still win this. If Galactic doesn't have a good ass score or is dying to him or to Flowey, then Geo can still win this. if he has a good Asker strat, because we will soon talk about how you're attacking Asker actually, or fight Asker actually.
Okay, sure.
Maybe we can already talk about it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So so in general, both of them picked up the burn pan. Burn pan is an item which allows to attack or use an attack that's counted 4 times. So you need to do 4 inputs to do the attack for the burn pan.
Yeah, and
yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, with the burnt pan hits, essentially the best possible Asgore that anyone can do is what's called a Tazgore, which is basically a 9-turn Asgore, or essentially 36 frame perfect inputs on the burnt pan, which hasn't actually. There's been a few people that have done it before.
Yeah, the first ones were TGH and Xander T2 actually performed the Tazgore, but it's had a considerable amount of practice before they were able to do this, because it's really frame perfect. You need to hit with the triggers exactly in the middle. I think you only have 1 or 2 frames on the left or right side buffer zone, but you need to hit it in the middle.
Yeah, it's insanely difficult, and a lot of practice would be required to get close to getting Tazgore, just because of the fact that it is all frame perfect inputs. There we go with the damage values for quads, triples, and normal hits for Asgore, or because I know a quad hit on Asgore does roughly 2 times as much damage as a triple hit, which is basically getting 3 frame perfect hits out of 4, and then the 4th one sort of just outside.
Yeah, so a normal critical would do around 170 to 180 damage, while the quad would do around 340 to 50, I think.
Yeah, it's normally around 340. So Galaxtic's about to enter Judgment Hall and attempt Judgment Skip, which, let's see, yep, safety save there.
Oh, he hit the trigger.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. So Geo is actually closing up to him now.
Yeah, I think Geo's a couple of encounters behind now, so it's actually relatively close. There we go. That was pretty good judgment skip from Galactic there. So now we're coming up to the last 3 wrong warps in the game, more commonly known as the Rombu Combo.
Second and the 3rd one. Nice.
There we go. Okay, so Galactic just entered the Asgore fight. There's a little bit of a cutscene, and then the fight itself starts proper. Geo about to do Judgment Skip.
You got it?
Yep. So it's all going to come down to Asgore, really. Here we go. Geo about to enter Asgore now as well. Yeah, this is basically the one boss encounter that we're forced to fight since we don't have the mercy option here.
Yeah, that's a normal critical he did now.
Yeah. Okay, and Geo just got a quad crit there. Oh, so did Galaxtic. Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the moment I want to say Galaxtic is about 3 turns ahead of Geo. Oh, another quad from Galaxtic, nice.
GeoDasher also with the quad now. And another quad.
It's about looking even at the moment, I think. Maybe Galactic's up by 1 turn in terms of damage.
Another quad. No, it probably was off 1 frame. It looked like a quad, but it was probably off 1 frame.
Yeah, that tends to happen a lot just with some of the patterns. It can be a bit iffy at times. Ooh, another missed quad by 1 frame from Galactic.
But a quad on the right side for Geo. This is really close.
Oh, ooh, that was close. And a quad from Galactic to finish.
And a triple on the right side. Sadly, a quad would have finished this.
Yeah.
And he's finished too.
Yep.
So Geo is. So it all comes down to Flowey now. So if one of them dies at Flowey, it's pretty much over.
Yeah.
I say.
Yes, considering that Flower is basically an 11-odd minute auto-scroller, yeah, it just comes down to not dying and with one of the soul phases that comes up, not missing the act button. Yeah, so just to note also, after the Asgore fight and after the cutscene that Geo has, the game force closes and we have to reload it. Obviously because Flowey's taken things over now and is running the show. So you just get a bunch of monologuing from Flowey about how he's all-powerful now and he's absorbed all the souls. Just check something real quick, because I believe Galactic's actually on PB pace at the moment. Yeah, his PB at the moment is a 1 hour, 4 minute, 4 second. Yeah, assuming nothing goes wrong at Flowey, this could actually be a PB for him. Also, just to point out with the Flowey fight, I believe you can take it's either 14 or 16 hits of damage from the Flowey fight before you actually die in the main part, and with the soul phases you actually can't die in the soul phases, so you take as much damage. Okay, his PB's a 103.15.
Yeah. But you still try to get as less damage as possible because you want to heal up yourself to full. So you have actually more health for the upcoming phase again.
Shay, I haven't done that in forever, okay? I've only done it probably once or twice in total. But yeah, as Shay said in chat, you can miss the act button on the 3rd soul phase, which I'll go into a bit more detail when that comes up. But yeah, for the moment, both runners... Oh, Galactic getting the laser there, I think that's purely RNG getting the laser coming up like that. Okay, so with this phase here, you can actually predict where the act button's going to come from based on the direction and the pattern that the swords are swinging in, or the knives, or whatever you want to call them here. If it's going clockwise, then it's coming from the top left. If it's going counterclockwise, then it comes from the top right. I want to say it's about 10 seconds or so between the two at the moment. It's really close.
It's really close. It's 10 seconds probably.
Yeah, so with this phase head, there's no sort of manipulation or anything that you can, or any determination patterns or whatever you can figure out. I'm bad with words apparently. Yeah, this one just comes up in the same spot in the same position every time, so there's no sort of trick to that one. And so we're coming up to this third soul phase, and you'll see in a little bit why I say you want to be careful with that one, because that's the one soul phase that can trip you up if you're not paying attention to where the button is.
There are legends who actually miss this X button that is coming up on the left side of Galaxtic.
Yeah, so you want to position yourself sort of in the top right corner of the box that you're in. Yeah, because if you miss this act button here, you actually can't catch up to it, just because of the way it moves along from the right to the left, and both runners not having any issues there. Okay, so coming up to the fourth phase, there's another little bit of prediction you can do, I guess you could say, whether the act button comes from the left side or the right side, and then it's I want to say it's a 50-50 chance, but apparently it's slightly more favored to one side than the other. So
left or right?
I'm going to say it's coming from the right.
Yeah.
Hey.
The second one is coming from the left. Oh, yes. It's coming from the right side too.
This is definitely a lot closer than... Yeah, this is just... wow.
Galactic also on the 5th soul phase. And what he's going to do in the 6th one is, after the soul phase is done, and before when the healing is setting in, he will quit out to skip the whole interlude to the 2nd phase.
Yeah, so with this one coming up with the gun, it'll fire bursts of 3 shots towards you. The strategy for this one is to sit in the bottom right corner, as it'll just automatically direct the bullets towards you in that particular line. And then on the 8th volley is when the egg button comes out, and that's when you want to start to sort of move up towards it, as we're about to see. Oh, okay. And we're going to see quitting out and reloading the game. Okay. As long as nothing happens here, it's basically within 5 seconds now, so...
Yeah, there's pretty much 5 seconds only of difference between each other. So...
It's insane.
It's possible that maybe Geo is going for the delaying option, that you can delay the attack to Flowey, so since the longer the fight it prolongs, the more damage you do to Flowey.
Neither of the runners seem to be going for the delay fight option, so It's just going to come down to loads at the end of the game, I guess, really. Because there's still one more save and quit that we... Well, not save and quit. There's one more reload that we have to do after this fight. I don't know, maybe Geo... No, still looks like going for normal for both.
And Galaxtic is done. So is Geo.
Ooh, this is like literally less than 2 or 3 seconds apart now. This is
3 seconds, I think.
Actually, it's a bit closer than that. It's probably about 1 second, 1.5 seconds at most.
It's 3 seconds.
Okay, so
and
you
if
can see
Galaxtic is not going to the edge now, he might waste those 2 or 3 seconds now.
Yes, because as Geo is showing on his screen, positioning yourself on the edge of the circle when the bullets actually start to go out and then come back in, it does it instantly. Oh, Galaxtic got it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally it'll come down to the last load for both runners as to who wins. That's all I can say.
It's down to 2 seconds, by the way, in the meantime. Oh, he missed the fight. He missed the fight. He went too far.
He overshot it.
Run! Okay, he's done.
And that's a 106,
Whoa.
103.06
Yeah.
for...
What a shame. That was... he missed... just because he missed the fight.
He overshot it just by that little bit, and that's what would have cost him.
Yeah. Well, GG to Galactic then.
Damn, like...
Yikes.
Okay, so do we want to try and get the runners in here for post-match, or...?
Yeah, we will do this.
Yeah, and I do believe as well that is actually a PB for Galaxtic by about 9 seconds. Yeah, I think with Geo with the retimer and just accidentally closing his splits or whatever he did for when he was an Napster bloke, I think it would have been a different outcome, but, you know, credit to him for pulling it back the way he did, considering it was about a 3-minute difference at the start and literally seconds apart at the end.
Yeah, if he actually went for not stopping because he was a bit confused about what happened to his timer, he actually would have won this.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that happened. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it was still a really good race between the two of them, and as close as it was at the end, given the situation. Okay, looks like we have Galaxtic. I'll just get him in here. Hello, Galaxtic.
Hello. Congratulations to a really close.
Thanks. I feel bad for GeoDasher for what happened to him at the beginning.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate for what happened on his part.
Yeah,
I mean, to his credit, he did pull it back to where it was literally seconds apart at the end of the Flowey fight. That's not too bad considering.
And then went a little bit too far on the fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he just overshot the fight button by a little bit, and that was basically it there. Also, nice PB by the way as well. I believe I was told your PB was 103.15, so that's yep. So congrats on that as well.
Yeah, congrats on the new PB.
And I also had a 4-con ask score. I've never had that before. It was the best ask score I've ever had.
Oh, nice. Well done.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if GeoDash is going to be coming in here or not for post-match, or...
Probably because of his name, his awesome Discord name. It was a bit difficult.
Yeah,
I was told. But yeah, in general, GG to Galaxtic and GG to GeoDasher. They actually pulled this off and got on par with him again, even though he waited because he was a little bit confused about his timer and didn't know what to do. For next time, he knows that he actually just needs to continue. It happens. So the next matches that will be held in the tournament will be round 2 matches. We have today upcoming at 7 p.m. EDT, Silver versus Duber, and we have Firestar versus Shay coming up at midnight. Then we are.
That one's not for a few days though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. How are you sort of feeling throughout the race? Oh
yeah.
Sorry.
No, I wanted to say Silver is today and Firestar vs. Shay is on September 1st. Yes, you're correct.
Yeah.
Wait, is my voice not on the stream? Or is it just delayed?
I don't actually. Anyone in chat, can you guys hear Galaxtics on your end, or is it just not going through for us? Okay, we do have commentary going through. Okay, so throughout the race as a whole, how are you sort of feeling like? Because would you have been aware that Geo had that little trip up at Napster Bloke, and sort of did that sort of influence things a little bit, or were you just sort of not worrying about it, just sort of going through as normal?
I didn't really worry about it too much, but like I didn't worry about it too much until I got to like after I missed Judgment Skip. That's when I started getting worried about the race.
Yeah, because he was pulling it back consistently throughout most of the run, and got to a point where it was about 10 seconds apart going into Asgore, and then I think you guys had similar Asgores. I think you both had about 13-ish. It was either 13 or 14 turns. I'm not 100% sure on that one.
That's probably the best Asgore I've had.
Yeah, and obviously you sort of, once you got past Asgore, you might have felt a bit more confident, or were you just still sort of not really mooring too much into it?
Well, I guess I was a bit worried. Like I messed up a bit on the Flowey fight, and I was really close to actually dying.
Yeah.
I was a bit shooken about that score, so
I mean,
Yeah.
again, credit to both of you guys for obviously a really close and wonderful race.
Yeah.
Again,
Thank you.
GG on the win, and GG to Geo. Credit to him for pulling it back the way that he did. So yeah.
We thank you everybody for joining us on this race today. Like we said, the next race will be coming up around. We've just been informed it's pushed a little bit back to 7:30 p.m. EDT today, and it will be Silver versus Duba. So check out the Undertale speedrun Discord or the Twitter page of ours where we will announce next race. And thank you to Speed Gaming. Thank you, BBC, for joining me on the commentary.
No worries.
Thanks to the runners. And yeah, goodbye, everybody.
And we'll see you in the next race. We'll see you at the next race, hopefully.